Hey everyone, welcome to another Hobby Hump. I have James here with me as usual. How's it going, James?
I'm good. How are you, John?
I'm doing well, and we have two special guests who will be joining us, and I believe it's both their first time to go live, and certainly their first time to go live with us. So
Ooh.
I'm excited. I've been trying to get newer channels engaged and get some new blood, some new ideas. So I'm excited for that.
That's definitely a good thing because having fresh perspectives always helps fuel the fire. I know I sometimes get into a lull of not knowing what to make a video on, and all it takes is a few conversations with friends, and boom, the wheels start turning. I get inspired. So, yeah, fresh blood is always welcome.
Isn't that the truth? You get inspired. I've always read a lot and just nonfiction. I'm not a big fiction reader, but I love to learn, and I always read a lot, and I always felt like even if I'm not gonna take somebody what they're saying and do it specifically that way, or they might even be talking about a different realm, but just reading triggers thoughts and how things pertain to you and what your venture is, right?
Yeah.
And it's just inspiration.
Yeah, definitely is. I like to watch documentaries for that reason. Just keep enlightening myself and getting fresh perspectives and maybe learn something new. I'll always evolve.
Yeah, and you're like me, and I've seen you do this because I do it too. I learn something about a player or a game or whatever, and then it makes me want to break out their card and tell the story on video, or in some cases, get their card because I don't have it, and then tell the story.
Right. And I go through that with the boxing.
Yeah.
Like when I did the Packy McFarlane, and I was like always thinking that it was Rocky Marciano, the king of the undefeateds and everything. And then when I find out Packy's like 70 and 0, I'm like, whoa, why is nobody talking about this guy?
Yeah, who's that?
Packy McFarlane, he was a light middleweight, like a
Oh, middleweight, yeah.
junior.
Yeah, well, back in the day, it was like in the old time of boxing, heavyweight was the thing, right? It was almost like everybody else took second fiddle. The heavyweight champ was the big deal for the most part. We had certainly uh, some great, very well. We had lots of great middleweights and flyweights and everything else, but most of the popular fighters were heavyweights, and then you had some very popular middleweights like Sugar Ray Robinson, um, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, those kinds of guys.
Right,
And
right.
then, of course, who they always called pound for pound the best fighter ever, or the best fighter of his day, Roy
Oh,
Jones Jr.
and Mayweather could be up there too. That guy's amazing.
Yeah, James Toney was a beast in the lower. What was he? A light heavyweight, but he
Yeah,
moved up. He moved up, and nobody could really handle him at the lighter weight class.
right, right. So we're talking about history. How about let's talk about modern times? You said you wanted to talk a little bit about the rule changes in Major League Baseball. Can you?
Oh, so you haven't heard about this proposed new one?
Nope. Enlighten me.
The thing that I don't understand is I don't understand why they have to change the rules every damn year. I mean, why do they require rule changes every year? So the new one is they're calling it something like the golden rule, something like that.
Okay.
And what it is you will be allowed to substitute a player for a play without it being like somebody, you don't have to replace a player. So, for instance, if the bases are loaded for the Yankees, you could bring up Aaron Judge to hit, whether it's his turn in the batting order or not,
No way.
so that you could bring your most exciting player up. I think it's once a game, I believe. But yeah, so if Aaron Judge is whatever, he batted last inning and he's not due up, and the bases are loaded, you could say, hey, we're going to bring Aaron Judge in for this one play and try to get a grand slam.
That's
That's
like
the way I understand it.
that's like playing poker with wild cards.
Yeah, I mean, it's like bringing a wild card in.
Oh my lord, that is crazy. I'm surprised I never heard about this so far.
I haven't heard anybody talking nicely about this rule. MLB's claiming it's, a lot of people excited about it, but um, I'm not really buying it. I mean, I don't know. It's like in sports now, every football game's, 37 to 33, and every hockey game's 9-7. And the baseball scores are like the old time football scores. It's like they just want scoring, and they just want to keep changing the rules and get to allow more and more and more scoring. And it's just it's a little annoying. I've never, like, in modern hockey, it just blows my mind because it never used to be this way. Like, if you were down 3 goals going into the third, 99.9% of the time you lost that game like you didn't have a prayer. And it's amazing to me how many teams come back and score four in the third. I mean, that just never happened before.
Yeah.
Basketball and football, it almost always comes down to the last play. And baseball, there's like a walk off almost every game to win the game. It's just I don't know. They just changed everything for all scoring. They don't want any defense. To me, like a 3-2 baseball game's a good baseball game. I
Right.
don't want to see a 9-7 baseball game. Personally, that's not how baseball was intended to be.
Well, we'll never see Jack Morris versus John Smoltz ever again. I mean, it, it's 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 not like that anymore, especially when they're yanking pitchers out after 3 or 4 innings with 60 innings. I mean, 60 pitches thrown. It's disheartening for me, honestly. I'm lucky I witnessed a good chunk of my baseball playing times like traditional, and then this wackiness that's going on now is just like, okay, launch angle, pitchers getting yanked after an inning or two. The opener is almost ridiculous to me. um I don't know what to make of
Well,
it.
think about this. Everybody wants an asterisk next to the steroid era players. Well, how about we put an asterisk next to everybody who to their stolen base records with the new bases and the new limiting throwing the first to hold you on? Shouldn't they have an asterisk? Or how about, like, if you're going to break the sacks record or the touchdown record in a single season, receiving touchdown, whatever, in the NFL, should we put an asterisk? Oh, my cat's acting up. Should we put an asterisk because they get to play with one extra game than the guys that came before them? And should Tom Brady have an asterisk because he got to play with two extra games than the guys in the 70s? You know,
You
it's
know,
like you're ruining the, well, the comparison in history with comparing players and records. The records are just silly. Like, modern NFL players are going to hold all the records.
right. You know what I could see happening? They're going to change the rule where you have to pitch 5 innings to be eligible for the win. I think they're just going to start handing it out to whoever had the most meaningful amount of innings. And you don't have to meet the five, because how else can starters get a meaningful amount of wins in their careers? Like, you're going to see starters now get 150 on average for like their career. Not even on average, probably 100 would be an average
Well,
amount.
I mean, that's a good point. Will they change the rules to allow for that? That's a good point.
They
Because
should.
right now you're never going to have another pitcher come even close to a 300 wins. Not
Definitely
even close.
not. And I mean, if you want to like cement your legacy, it's gonna be hard. Other than like, Shohei and Judge doing things that a lot a lot of people haven't even been able to touch in the history of baseball. But I mean, can you imagine a pitcher that wants to like pitch for 15 years? He's healthy and he's getting yanked, and he's just let up one run and he's getting yanked after five because the manager says that, oh, they're starting to hit you. Like, so what? you know?
Yeah.
I'd be arguing with them. I'd be flipping them the bird and everything. Like,
Well,
wait,
it's more pitch count. Even if they're not getting hit, they yank them.
right, right. And then let's change this topic. And then there's like the hobby. We're noticing that there's a lot of change also within the hobby, and there's something else that you wanted to allude to with that. I'll let you start with
Oh
that.
well, I was just telling you there's like a tide turning with this whole, which is the way I've always done it. So I find it kind of funny that it's becoming popular now. But just the move to just buying the card and not focusing so much on grade. As cards have gotten so expensive, I just think a lot more people are buying lower grade cards that look good. More on eye appeal, which of course the grading companies don't take into account when they put a number on that flip.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know I've changed over the years a lot, but for the most part, I don't feel like centering is everything for me. Like, I can enjoy a card that's authentic, minimum size requirement not met. I never used to look at that card just because it said authentic, but now it took someone like Orlando for me to gain new perspective. So it's not even about a number anymore. It's like more of the look of the card itself. Sometimes the corners and the edges and how clean the card looks wins over the grade or the centering per se. Like if it's 60-40, you know, I'm good with it. Like it doesn't have to be spot on center. There's some cards that 80% of the time they're not centered, like not like grossly off centered. With the 52 set that I'm working on, when I find a centered one, it's like eureka. Like I can't believe it. And I had a chance to win it or buy it or find it in the wild. Like that's crazy. If it's 60-40, I'm like doing cartwheels. So I
Yeah, I mean, some people wouldn't, will no longer buy a card that's not centered. It doesn't bother me that much. I sometimes a little off-center cards kind of, I just like the look of them. It just depends on that individual card. I like I like my vintage cards to look vintage. I like them to look vintage. I always have. I've never understood this fascination with looking at them under a loop like they're diamonds and so much emphasis and price difference over one grade or something like that. Oftentimes, the higher grade looks worse. I just posted three 1953 Whitey Fords that has funk over his face that PSA gave a 4 to, that none of us would even want. We would never pay the money they're asking for them, but it's
right.
a 4.
And then raw cards with vintage, man, just touching these things. And they're not glossy like the new ones.
Yeah.
They just have like a nuance about them that's like nothing else right now. I love it. I love to say I have an artifact that I own. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's funny, James. I always get a kick out of these videos, and everybody. I'm not putting anybody down by saying this. We all start somewhere, but the new people that come on that I've seen on YouTube, like the newer collectors who were into modern, and they start to get into vintage because they want to sell vintage cards too. When they got more popular, they'll get the vintage cards. And I saw this one video. It was so funny. He was calling Sandy Koufax Sandy Kofa, and I can't even tell you how he pronounced Yastrzemski's name. But anyway, so he's dabbling, and I've seen lots of these, and they send their vintage cards out, and they'll go, "Oh my God, it's a 5. Oh, it's a 6." Like they're comparing their vintage cards to these brand new cards right out of a pack, and they're disappointed every time, and they can't understand why they're not getting 8s and 9s, and it's kind of funny to watch.
to me, if I grade a vintage card and it comes back a 5, to me, that's like getting a 9. Like,
Yeah, that's a great grade on a video. But
that's
like that's what
great.
I'm saying. You can't compare it to brand new cards. These brand new cards were never circulated these guys opened the pack and sent them to PSA.
Right.
Vintage cards were circulated. I mean, they might have been very well preserved in an album or a screw down back in the day, like the Mickey Mantle that sold for 12.5 mil. But most of them aren't like that, and you should not be expecting 9s and 10s on all your vintage cards.
Definitely not. Well, John, I hate to cut this short, but we are joined by our first guest.
Fantastic.
And I'm about to bring her up. I'm going to let you speak now and introduce her. Here we go.
Melissa.
Hi, John.
How are you? Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Hi, James.
Hi, Melissa.
Yeah, so Melissa, recently I stumbled on her channel, and man, what an amazing collection. She was just showing banger after banger after banger, and she had 1 subscriber.
Oh,
yeah, it was just my daughter.
Yeah, so I had to shout her out. How many are you up to now?
130, I think.
Nice.
All from you.
Yeah, I mean, what a great collection. I thought we could have you on and just hear about, watching your video, I know a little bit, but this is a new audience. How you started collecting?
So I was a tomboy growing up, and I loved baseball. I played minor league, 3 years of little league, and I started by collecting the cards off the Hostess boxes, which I have here, some of them. I don't know if you guys remember these.
Yep, I collected them too. The ones I have from my childhood are, man, they're badly cut. I must.
Oh
not
yeah,
have,
I was a terrible using scissors.
Yeah, I have a whole binder with my original ones, like from when I was a kid.
Nice. But I grew up in Utica, New York. That's central New York. And I have 2 cards here of guys that played in the Utica New York Penn League. You have, I don't know if you can see it, Miguel Cabrera.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And the other one is Larry Walker.
Wow. That's a good
It's
name.
a single A.
Now, Larry Walker is one of only 2 Canadians in the Hall of Fame.
And we have a comment here, Melissa. Do you have a 79 Murphy Hostess? I'm having the hardest time picking that one up.
Oh boy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I have that one.
Yeah. I have a couple
I have
of
the
panels. I don't know if
Ozzie
he's on
Smith.
the panel.
Yeah, the Ozzie Smith I have. That's on a panel with Nolan Ryan. That's a big one. The Robin Yount from his rookie year is a big one. Dennis Eckersley. And who else? The other big one is Eddie Murray is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a Bob Horner in '79 too. Not as big as Eddie Murray, but anybody that watched Bob Horner play, he was good.
Yep, he wasn't that bad. Third baseman, right?
Yeah, and then he went over to Japan at the end of his career.
Okay.
He was a power hitter.
Listen, I have a question. Have you been collecting the whole time, or have you taken breaks?
Well, I took a break when I was in college because I didn't have any money. Then after I graduated college, I got my first full-time job. And, you buy a house, you get married, you have kids, you just spend time on other things than baseball cards. But I just started picking up some mantle cards back in the early 2000s because my dad was sick and that was his favorite player. So this is my favorite mantle card.
Nice.
Oh yeah, beauty.
That's possibly his best looking one.
Yeah. I have his full run except the 51 Bowman and the 52 Tops. I'll probably never have those, but never say never.
Right. His 51 is probably my favorite. His 51 Bowman. That's probably my favorite. And the one I love, and I never see anybody show it, or and or talk about it in high regard, but I love the 53 Bowman. Love that card of his.
Mhm.
That's either my first or second favorite. And I'm probably alone on that, but I love it.
I have to watch my budget because my husband yells at me. Probably don't hear that very often, but I get these little packages in the mail from eBay that I buy cards, and he'll yell at me and say, "I see you got another card."
Yeah. You
We
know
buy
what? You
shoes,
you need to get a private PO box at the post office.
Listen, I don't know if you heard, we were talking about the hobby and how the hobby is starting to have like a little shift. John is noticing. I'm just wondering if over time, have you kind of evolved with the way you collect and look at cards and choose to pick up cards?
I wish I could just. I'm trying to build 3 sets, but I'm almost like a spaz when I go to a show. If I see something, I get away from the sets and I'll pick up a rookie of someone I don't have. It's just hard to concentrate on filling a set. I'm trying to do the 57 tops basketball, and they're kind of hard to find already graded. And if you do find them graded, people want an arm and a leg for them. So
Yeah.
I don't know. And I collect everything: baseball, football, hockey, basketball, boxing. I even have some non-sport cards. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I wanted do you have that Muhammad Ali
I
handy?
do.
Yeah, this is a card. I don't know how this has escaped me. I've shopped for it many times and just never found the right one or won the auction. That's the 71 Barrett.
Yep. There's a few in that set that I'd like to get. I'd like to get the Pele. The Jack Nicklaus is very expensive. And there's Rod Laver and Margaret Court I'd like to add.
Now, who are they?
They're tennis players.
Oh, okay. I do have the Jack Nicklaus here. I have all the golfer. I believe all the golfers in the set.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, and I have Gary Players in that set.
Yep.
And this is Peter Thompson and Tony Jacklin.
Nice.
I have a big vintage golf collection. Oh hell, I have a big vintage everything collection. So when you're shopping for cards, we were talking a little earlier. I don't know, you probably didn't hear, but when you're shopping for cards, what do you look for in a card? What's the most important thing to you? Do you look for specific grades? Do you look for centering? Do you look for registration? What's your kind of strategy?
If it's vintage, I'm looking in a grade of like a 5, because I could deal with some rounding of the edges, as long as it's centered and not too off center, left to right or whatever. But yeah, whatever is appealing, I'll go after.
Okay. Do you have a preference when it comes to centering? Like, if it's going to be off center, would you prefer it left to right off center or up and down?
Up and down.
Up and down.
Yeah. For some reason, I can tell more left and right that it just doesn't look right to me.
Yeah, I'm probably a little different than everybody else. I think most people would give that answer. I kind of don't like it up and down, off center too much. I'm probably a little, yeah, probably more left to right. What I can't stand is when it's left and right off center and up and down off center.
Yeah.
That's the worst. I could take one or the other.
7 tops basketball, they're hard to find centered.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the other set you're working on?
55 tops baseball, which I have a bunch of the cards. I don't have the Clemente, but I do have one I got this year.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And that
Sandy
one's
Koufax.
Yeah, go for it.
That's an earlier reference.
I have Hank Aaron, Harmon Killebrew.
Do you have the Ken Boyer?
I do.
Nice.
Yeah,
Do you have the Bill Verdon?
fives. What's that?
Do you have the Bill Verdon?
I don't think so.
You need
I
the Bill
only have
Verdon, Bill
about,
Verdon
I
rookie
only
cards
have
in there. That
about 70 cards.
okay.
So,
Yeah,
and
I'm probably the only one that cares about that. But he came up with the Cardinals, won Rookie of the Year, and then he played for the Pirates. And my father always told me he was like the best defensive center fielder he ever watched. They called him the Quail. He was smooth out there.
Which are your teams you like to collect?
So I grew up a Reds fan. Loved Johnny Bench, Pete Rose. The big red machine.
Okay.
When it comes to football, I'm a Dolphins fan. Been a Dolphins fan ever since I was little.
Okay.
Love the Celtics. And hockey, I'm a Flyers fan. So I'm all over the
Oh, a
place.
Flyers fan, our arch nemesis. Man, the Penguins Flyers.
Yeah.
The fans go at it. Those teams have beat the hell out of each other over the years. You remember that playoff game a few years ago, a number of years ago now. I don't know. The Flyers were killing the Penguins like 10-1 or something, and then it was just an all-out brawl at the end of the game. It was embarrassing.
I used to go every year to Buffalo because I'm only an hour from Buffalo to go watch them play. But they've been so bad the last few years. We usually go watch the other teams. Like last year, we saw Ovechkin play.
Yeah.
And the year before that, we saw McDavid and Draisaitl, I think his name.
I just got the Ovechkin Sports Illustrated for Kids card.
Nice.
Nice.
He's about to break Gretzky's record soon.
He's hurt right now.
Yeah, he has a broken leg now, but I think he'll make it. He's not too far off.
Yeah.
I have a question, Melissa. Do you collect with your husband? Is he into sports like you?
He does like sports, but he doesn't collect anything. I did a video of a ball that he had when he was a bat boy for the Red Wings one year. And they were the affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles. So every year they would come into town and play an exhibition game. And he was their bat boy. And this was back in 1983, which is the year after Ripken's rookie year.
Okay. And
that was the year they won the World Series. So he used to go around all the players and get them to sign the ball.
Oh,
and
nice. How did he
out with Ripken? And he has Ripken's father was also a manager on the team. I think he was third base coach. So he's got that on the ball too. It's pretty cool.
Wow. How did he get that gig?
I guess he just applied and, they.
That's like a dream job for a young kid. Yeah. Do you have any cards of the Wrecking Ball?
The what?
The Wrecking Ball, Mark Recchi.
Oh yeah. I actually just met him. When was the show? In October. He was in a Batavia show that I went to, and I had him sign his rookie card.
So he was with the Penguins before he went to Philadelphia.
Yep.
And he was a fan favorite, and we had this announcer, and he was just a classic announcer, Mike Lang. And I'm pretty sure he gave him that nickname. I think he gave it to him. I'm not 100% sure, but he'd always call him the Wrecking Ball. Okay. And there was a guy who used to come to the Civic Arena, and he was dressed like Elvis. Well, when the game was clearly in hand and the other team had no chance of winning, Elvis would leave. And Mike Lang, every time, he would say, "And Elvis has just left the building." And that's how you knew the game was over.
That's cool.
Melissa, which are your prized possessions in your collection? I don't know if it's that mantle, the 53 mantle, or others.
God, there's so many. I don't think I could pick just a few. When you've been collecting since you're 7, I'm 55 now, so it's hard to pick certain ones. Being a big Dolphins fan, I have rookie cards of Bob Greasy, Larry Zonka, Paul Warfield, all those guys. But,
The Mark brothers, Mark Duper, Mark Clayton.
oh yeah, I met them.
Man, they were exciting to watch. With Dan Marino throwing to them anyway.
I have a big collection of autographs, so Mike and I go to Cooperstown every year during induction weekend, and that's where I got a lot of my autographs and stuff.
Oh, wow. James, you should see her room. It looks like a museum. Just signed pieces of every sport.
He's giving me now project to go catch up on your videos.
Yeah, you have to check that video out. It's insane.
Can I tell you a funny story? One time when I was working, I came home and my husband was down in the sports room with the mailman. So I asked him, like, what's going on? He's like, well, he was delivering another package to our door and he rang the doorbell and Mike answered the door. And he goes, oh, I have another package here for you. It looks like you got more sports stuff. And he looks at him and he goes, yeah, that's my wife's. He's like, yo, you want to come in and see it? He's like, sure. So brought him down to the basement and looking at all the stuff and he couldn't believe it. But yeah, it's pretty funny.
I had a postman and he figured out what I was getting in the mail. And man, if I saw him, he would beat my ear for like a half an hour. He must have been late on his route. He would talk to me about cards and ask me what things were worth. And then the guy that took over for him, he was kind of fascinated too, and he'd always engage me in conversation. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I get a bad reputation. My mail lady now, I think she hates me. After Thanksgiving, I held my mail, and she came up, and man, she had one of those bins, and she's handing everything to me. I just gave her 3 bins to take back today.
Wow.
Because I've been, I don't know, if I have a good bit, she'll just put a bin there, and then I take it in my garage and set it there. So I had collected 3 of them.
Melissa, I want to know, based on what you said about Cooperstown, who did you get giddy or excited to have sign something of yours?
Oh boy. The old timers were great. They would sit and just talk with you. Harmon Killebrew was my favorite. He was such a nice guy. Warren Spahn was great. Red, was it Shanedis?
Shanedis.
Yeah.
Shanedis.
He sat and talked with us for a while. Just the old timers, they're great. They'll spend a lot of time with you, talk to you, where are you from, and they have such nice penmanship too. The newer guys, I don't know, they don't give you as much time as you'd like, even though you're spending a ton of money.
Yeah.
But gosh, I think one of the funnier ones I met was Buck O'Neill. He saw me in just waiting in line, and he was walking through and everyone's clapping and everything, and he walked over to me and he goes, oh, you got to give me some of that. So I thought that was pretty funny.
I have his autograph card right behind me on a display here. I had pulled from a pack myself. Back in the old days when you got good pools, like in the early 2000s, I got great pools. Now I get nothing.
I think one of the where I was a little starstruck was when I met Muhammad Ali. I went to a show in New Jersey, and we're standing in line, and I just really couldn't believe that he was there. It was the most I ever spent for an autograph, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
We get up to line. I had a big 16 by 20 photo of him standing over Liston. And he signs it. And I just said, can you just take a really quick picture with me? And I leaned in and my husband took a picture. Well, we walked away because there was a ton of people in line. And we were about 20 feet away. And the people that were running the show were yelling at us to say, he wants you to come back. So when I turned around, he was standing up and he's waving to me to come back to him. And I walked back and he put his arm around me and we took another picture. Oh,
That's great.
cool. Yeah.
That's so nice. Was it like this one over here? Oh wait, that's just that one right there.
No, it's
Kelly.
not that one. No, it was where he's standing over Sonny Liston.
No, I meant the hug when he hugged you.
Oh, I couldn't believe it was happening. So it was pretty cool.
Now, James got a nice Ali autograph piece at the National in Chicago, and shipped it FedEx, and they lost it.
Well, it's that one right there, but it took like 3 weeks for it to arrive because they left it in the warehouse or something. Like it must have been in some dark room or something for like 2 weeks. And
oh my gosh.
They didn't know where it was at. I was on pins and needles because when I saw that thing at the National, that was like the main buy for me. And yeah, when it turned up missing,
James was freaking out, and he's like, "I don't want the money. I want the piece.
Yeah,
I'll never find that again."
But I have another boxing card here to show you.
Yeah.
This is the 1956 Adventure, Joe Louis.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
that's a great set. Fantastic. I think I only have one. No, I think I have two from that set.
I have the Mancini and the Jake LaMotta, or no, Jack Dempsey. I have those two.
Mancini.
Ray Mancini's in it.
On what?
The Adventure set?
No.
No?
Boom Boom. He fought in the 80s, 90s.
I'm sorry, Marciano.
Oh, Marciano. Okay,
Yeah.
that's one I have, and I have a signed. What's his name? Pip. What's his first name? James. I'm drawing a blank.
I don't know the set, so it's.
No, but the fighter Pip. What is it? Wally Pip.
Wally Pip is the baseball player, no?
No. There was a. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank now.
That said, I'm looking for the Marciano, but it keeps eluding me.
Yeah, I'm glad I got a copy. It's a great card, and Marciano is my favorite fighter.
And then I'm looking for a Marciano autograph, but it always is in the $750 to four-figure range, and I just don't know if I want to spend that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the guys that tragically, unfortunately die young. They didn't spend 30 years signing in retirement like a lot of the guys did. So you got to pay up because they're not around. His ringside, I have his ringside up in a display. I love that card. Love that card.
Yeah.
What's your grade on it?
I have a 1.5. But it looks beautiful though.
Yeah.
I have the ringside Marciano, but I've kept it raw. I've never bothered grading it. It's probably like a 1.5, somewhere around there.
Well, I'll tell you, those ringside cards, you'll find them in 3s, 4s that look like crap. I mean, they're tough.
The one that I'm
Mine
looking
looks great.
is Sugar Ray Robinson in that ringside. That's a nice one.
Oh, I have that in I think a 7.5. I have a high grade on that one.
Yeah, he's one that I have yet to pick up a card of his. There was a nice exhibit one that eluded me also, and I like that one also. But the hunt continues for Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah,
I have the ringside. I have a copy of the Leaf. It's a little. I got it years ago, not in the best condition. And then I have an uncut sheet of them, 4, with Jack Johnson, him, and 2 other fighters that I'm forgetting. But yeah, I have an uncut sheet of them, which is pretty cool.
So, Melissa, do you also collect modern?
I do. I picked up a box of that Allen and Ginter. I thought I would try it out. $140 I spent, and let's just say I didn't get $140 worth of cards. Um,
You never do these days.
yeah, but it was fun to open the packs. You know, it brings you back to when you were little, when you were opening packs.
It looked like a fun product to open.
Yeah.
I saw some of the cards in there and some of the checklists and stuff. It looked like a fun. I was considering it.
Yeah.
But every time I do, I regret it, so I didn't.
Yeah.
Did you ever get update box, John?
I did.
No luck?
I got some nice pulls. I was very happy with that box.
Oh.
But I did not get the one of one schemes. Not yet, anyway.
Did you get a rookie Paul schemes?
I did. I got the what was it? The 89 insert.
Okay.
You know, that looks like the 89 tops.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful card. I was happy just to pull that.
Now, are you?
But I got 2-1 Soto refractors, and I got Dominguez. I got a fancy refractor of his rookie card.
Nice. And Melissa, you asked something?
Are you a Pirates fan?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
A tortured Pirates fan.
Yeah.
They were good when I was growing up.
There was a reason why he knew about the minor league teams, because he thinks he roots for one.
We're definitely a minor league team.
Yeah. They have a great ballpark.
Well, I call us a farm system, not a minor league team. We're a farm system for the rest of the league. As soon as somebody gets good, they're off to the Yankees or Tampa Bay.
My goal is to hit every major league ballpark, and that's my favorite ballpark, Pittsburgh.
It's the best. It's the nicest one I've been to or seen. I love that ballpark. It's amazing, fantastic ballpark.
Jason says being a Pirates fan is better than a White Sox fan.
Can't argue with you there.
Melissa, I got a question. You said you loved Harmon Killebrew's autograph and all these old timers, their autographs, and obviously they took their time with their penmanship. It mattered. It was part of their DNA. You know, nowadays they just scribble whatever. Do you feel like you would want to pay for some of these autographs nowadays?
No. I love Mike Trout, and basically he's just an M with a T. It's almost like all of them nowadays are just writing their initials, and I'm not spending that kind of money for initials.
Yeah, I think you have two things going on there. If we're being honest, number one, a lot of these guys today, they did not grow up learning cursive writing, and so they are going to have different signatures. I think that's one thing, and then the other thing is a lot of times it's their father signing for them or a family member when they're sending them thousands of cards to sign. So I think they intentionally do that, so you can't really distinguish it too well.
Oh, I'd hate to think you can't even sign. You seen Anthony Richardson's signature? Not only is it AR, but he does it like minuscule.
Really small.
Oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah.
try a little bit, please.
Yeah.
It's so sad that you're gonna pay because it's a refractor parallel autograph of that. You're gonna pay $1,000 or $2,000 for that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so I'm first and foremost a card collector, and for the most part, when I buy a card, I don't want it signed. I think PSA should mark all autograph cards as marked because they are. So I'm glad I don't. Autographs have gotten so popular and so expensive, and I just hear a lot of people complaining about it. So I'm glad. I have so many rabbit holes to go down. I'm glad I don't have that one too. I do have a lot of autographs, but I don't really routinely chase them. Plus, I don't trust them. I don't trust a whole lot of them.
Is that why you like to go live, Melissa, and meet them and know they're exactly signed and you're not buying a fake?
We haven't. The last few times I've gone to Cooperstown, I haven't got any of the newer guys because they're starting to be a little like. Have you seen David Ortiz?
Mhm.
what his autograph looks like. It's just a scribble. I think the only one that I would get that I don't have, well, actually I sold it, is Mariano Rivera. He has a beautiful autograph. Um, but
Yes.
Who's
You,
who do you think of all your autographs? Who do you think has the prettiest, the nicest signature?
oh boy, I love Mickey Mantle.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
I don't know
he's
if
my
you ever
favorite.
delved into it, but they've done studies. Like there's a website, and it lists all his different signatures over the years,
Hmm.
and it is amazing how many times he changed his signature.
Yep,
wow.
Ripken too.
That's why when you show somebody a Mickey Mantle, they'll be like, "Oh, that's not real. It doesn't have that banana or whatever." But he didn't
Mhm.
always have that. And in
Right.
fact, his one that would look so the most fake is from when like he was a rookie,
Hmm.
and that would be an extra special one to have actually.
Yeah.
But most people would think it was a fake because it doesn't have the bananas.
You know whose autograph I like, which I'm chasing right now currently, is Kirby Puckett, and I like towards the end where it looks so symmetrical with the way the P loops around with the T looping back
Mhm.
around. It is such a beautiful signature, and but that one is getting pricier.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Is that a pricey autograph? I would think so, since he passed so young.
Yeah, and it seems to always keep going up. Like let's say a year ago when I was looking for it, it would be around 150-ish to 200. Now it seems like they're starting to jump into the $300 range, depending on what they signed on.
He was a good player. I was just watching earlier today the highlights of one of his best games. He went 6 for 6 with 2 home runs and caught a ball up against the wall.
Hmm.
He was
I
a
have a
beast.
pocket ball and a Sports Illustrated signed by him.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, he keeps eluding me. But like what you said, you could be looking for something for your set, and then you see something else, and you end up
Right.
buying something else, like a key rookie. I I'm watching the REA auction, and it's ending this weekend. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to peek in on it, but there's a lot of nice autographs in there. I'm currently winning one item, and I'm hoping it stays that way because it's a signed book with like 10 signatures, and almost all of them I don't have. So I really want that piece so badly. And then like today I won an item which I didn't expect to win. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, I just like killed my Christmas budget and I got all these items ending. I'm like, oh my God, I might have killed myself now.
About 2 years ago, James got all into autographs, man. He's buying all nothing but autograph cards, fantastic cards, and he got himself a Walter Johnson signature and a
Wow.
Clemente signature.
All right, you don't gotta advertise it, John. Come on, man.
Let me give everybody your address.
No, I'm not gonna have the mailman coming over to see them all like Melissa. You know who's another one I want? Walter Payton.
Oh yeah, that'd be a nice one to have.
I
Yeah.
have a couple of those. I have a mini helmet um, and an 8x10 photo. Really
You know,
nice.
another tough signature that I happen to have this because he was my favorite player growing up is Lynn Swan because he just refused to sign. I
Uh,
think he's signing more now. Um, I think, but he never used to sign anything. I got his signature in person, and then I got it on a mini helmet.
I wish I would have got Franco Harris before he passed.
Yeah, I don't have a Franco. I loved Franco, man. He was the man in Pittsburgh. People don't even realize, I hear, he's never in the discussion for top running backs or anything, but man, he changed the franchise. When he came on the scene, he had a phenomenal rookie season. And the Steelers went to the playoffs, which they had not done. They never went to the playoffs. They went to the playoffs every year he was a Steeler. Every year. Changed the whole team.
wow. So, Melissa, how long you been on YouTube so far?
I just started this year.
Okay.
Um, it's kind of funny how I started getting on YouTube. I was trying to figure out what was going on with Sports Illustrated. So I kept Googling, what's going on with Sports Illustrated, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing all these different videos of people putting up magazines and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I guess I could just type in baseball cards and see what pops up. And now I see all these, different YouTube stations, and I'm like,
Now, did you watch any videos before you did your own?
oh yeah, I watched yours. There was a whole bunch of them that I watched.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hadn't. I didn't know there were people on YouTube showing cards. I never thought of it as a video thing. I knew that I would see the groups on Facebook. People would show the pictures of their cards, but I never really thought of it as a video thing. And man, there's just a whole new world it opened up for me.
So it's safe to say that John influenced you.
Yeah. I didn't know whether I should even do a video because I'm more of a laid back and don't want to be the center of attention type of person. So, my daughter kept pushing me, why don't you try and do it? Do one, do one. So I did one, and,
It's great though, because I mean, your family may be a little different, but most of us, we don't have anybody that understands what they're looking at when we get a new item and no one to share it with, and YouTube allows us to share it with everybody.
Right. It also helps you come out your shell a little bit too, right? Like
a little bit, yeah.
It's if you watch my first earlier videos, I was very soft spoken, like, hey guys, here's another card here. And eventually I kept watching my videos like I need to pep it up. I need to get a little louder. And eventually I got a little more comfortable with just speaking and not worrying about what people thought about me or anything.
I will never ever forget how I learned about you, James.
Oh, come on, get out of here. We don't need to go there with Melissa. Let's keep it good and gentlemanly.
He did a video response for me, and let's just say it was unique.
Oh my gosh! So
I'll tell you what, though, I made like we made like 100 friends through YouTube, maybe more.
Yeah,
I would like to go to the national or like a really big show.
Yeah.
And be able to meet some of these people just to say hi or whatever. But I've never been to a huge show.
You know what? I had never been to the National until I was on YouTube and already knew people. And we had a big, we got an Airbnb with some folks. And I think only 2 of them I ever met, I think. And that's how we got the Misfits. It was everybody that stayed there in Atlantic City. But that was my first one, and I don't think I would have gone if it wasn't for YouTube.
Yeah, Mookie Chilson is asking, "What's your channel? Can you please state your channel for everyone so they could go sub you up?"
Yeah, it's Sports Guru 17.
You heard it there, Sports Guru 17. Go sub up Melissa. Not that she's going off now, but definitely I'm gonna check you out too. Because if not for John, I would have not even known about you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Does the 17 have a significance?
Yeah, Keith Hernandez is my favorite player, all-time favorite player. So that's his number. And
11 gold gloves and the most in history for a first baseman.
Yep. And people called me guru when it came to sports because I knew so much sports trivia. So whenever people were doing crossword puzzles, they'd call me up and say, hey, who is so-and-so? And I'd say how many letters, and I'd throw a name out, and they're like, oh, all right, thanks. So they call me, sports guru.
That's great.
Don wants to know what part of the country you're from.
The country?
Where you're from?
I'm American.
He wants to know where's your stomping grounds.
Yeah, I've lived in New York State my whole life. Grew up in central New York in Utica, and live in western New York right now in Rochester area.
Nice, nice.
So,
Fellow New Yorker here.
There he is.
And
What's up?
we got our next guest here.
What's
Sorry,
up, guys?
sorry, Melissa. We're gonna put you a little bit to the side. We got
No,
Brent
no.
without his ball cap.
What's that? This is true.
James
This
was
is true.
asking if you were going to show up in your bald cap.
I did think about it, but I didn't have time to put all that together. But one is enough for right now, right?
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, Brent does a near perfect impersonation of me.
Everybody loves John. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. It'll show up again, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah, it was funny before I knew you, Greg, midlife car sports
Oh
cars.
yeah.
He texts me. He's like, "My friend does this great impersonation of you," and he's telling me, and I'm like, "Really? Like, send me it." And he sent me that video.
That was
I
pretty
was
good.
laughing.
Yeah. I was trying to cheer him up one day, and I just sent him one. I didn't have a ball cap or anything, but yeah. Then he was like, "Man, that was good." I'm like, I might bring that back out.
Now, do you do any other impersonations or just me?
No, that one video where I shouted out everybody and I did all of them. That was the only time I'm probably going to do that.
All right.
But that was
So
a lot of fun.
you collect mostly '90s stuff, right?
80s, 90s, yeah. To me, the memories of my childhood is what's most important. Now, I've had a couple of other collections in my life and lost them for various tragic reasons, but the stuff that I've recollected since I started again is mostly the stuff guys that I watched and collected when I was younger. If I had unlimited funds and unlimited time, I would be just like John. You know, I would want it all. It's just I love the history of baseball. I'm a baseball historian myself. I love it all. But if I'm going to put my money somewhere, usually it's in the guys that I loved and I watched, you know, from childhood on.
Yeah, so you had that amazing Stadium Club set. You have that. Was it the complete set you have?
I used to. Now
Okay.
the biggest thing I ever did, and I had to sell it. I had lots of amazing stuff, but the biggest thing I ever did was a PSA 10 84 Donruss set. And I got the award for best modern set from PSA. And they count modern as 72 to present.
Oh,
And
really?
so I had the best set in the world from 72 to present at that time. There was about
Wow.
5 cards that there were no tens of at that time. And but mine was almost complete. Now there are guys that have all tens, but I was the first one to get that close, and I won the award. If I could have gone to Chicago, I could have gotten the award on stage and all that, but didn't get to do that. But yeah, that thing's long gone. Had the Charlotte Orange Ripken. I had the only PSA 8 blue Charlotte in the world. I had all 4 Ryans, including Venezuelan. I had all kinds of amazing stuff. I definitely love vintage, but when I got back in and, I can buy so much stuff, which I buy a lot. It's mostly the stuff from 80s up.
Okay.
How long did it take you to put that set together?
A long time. But I did luck out running into a guy, and it wasn't on a forum because I've really never been a forum guy, although I got into forums after I started that set. But there was a guy, I can't remember how I met him, and he had a slew of them. So I probably bought 200 and something tens from that guy.
Wow.
And it gave me a more of a jump start. But when you're dealing with 600 PSA 10s, and you got the variations with the Perez steel with the E and the no E on the Diamond Kings and stuff, that's a doozy to put together. But back then the Mattingly was worth about $750 in 10, and now it's 4 or 5 grand.
Is that right?
If I'd have sold that thing during the pandemic, if I could have waited about 15 years, that would have been a windfall.
So do you just buy tens, or do you ever buy
No.
cards and
No,
send
just
them in yourself?
there's certain sets like
sets.
90 Leaf, 91 Stadium Club, 89 Upper Deck. I buy the stars and the guys I like and the rookies in 10s. 84 Donruss, I do 9s, and then just a bunch of insert sets and things, depending on how hard it is to find. Like that Provision set I just showed, all the black ones are impossible. So I collected all those in 9s, which is very difficult, and the white borders in 10s. And then a lot of stuff I don't have graded at all. But there's certain things, certain insert sets, certain sets that I loved growing up, or I love just period, and I do get those graded in a certain run. You know, it's not always possible, but
Melissa, do you have cards from the 80s, 90s? I haven't seen
Oh, yeah.
you really show any. Do you have a lot from that era?
Well, I just took some of my cards out. I have some of these golf cards. I don't know if you have these. No.
Oh, sorry.
oh, the Tiger, yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's a sweet card.
So I have that whole set. And
Nice.
then I have a couple of the other Tiger Woods cards.
Oh yeah, Sports Illustrated for kids.
And then this is the promo
Oh
when the
yeah,
Upper Deck came out.
yeah,
You,
that was nice.
you know, I tried to corner the market on that promo. I think I have 6 of them.
Of course you do.
I don't know where that promo was distributed. Do you? Because the only place I've ever found them is Canada.
Mm.
All the sellers I've ever encountered with them came from Canada. Do you know where they were distributed?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I never had one.
Well, you know, the regular Tiger rookie is just so common. So that promo is amazing to have. And
that's
yeah,
the
I
one
don't
to
know.
have.
I got on this kick where when I first discovered it and it was cheap. I mean, you know, not cheap, like $5 cheap, but like
Right.
30 to $50 cheap. And I was just buy every one I found.
I thought
on
all your
eBay.
cards were $3.
Well, since my wife's not around, I can admit they're not all $3. You didn't hear that, did you?
Yeah, exactly.
We have this game, Melissa. If you don't know, I tell my wife, you know, when she asks, my cards are all worth $3. You know, I paid $3 for them, and she pretends to believe me.
Yeah, it's a running
So
joke.
now
I
it's a
got
standing joke.
My wife tried to corner me and tell me I keep spending a lot of money on cards. And I was like, if I'm not here tomorrow, they're all yours. What are you complaining about?
Yeah, right.
It's sitting on a mountain of money.
You know what? It's such a pain for somebody to inherit your cards and sell them, though. It's like I don't think anybody wants to have to deal with that if they have no interest in the cards.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing to do is leave a number of someone you trust that'll help out. You know, just show them they're not going to be greedy or anything and try to like pilfer a few things, and just help them guide on how to liquidate it, or show them to someone that could like just give them a lump sum and clear them of that headache. Because I recently bought a collection from someone that I had to give an estimate of what the collection was worth from the person that passed, because the will was being read and all the assets were being allocated to people and dispersed. So then I put a price on it, and then once the lady got it, she called me back, do you want this stuff? Like, I don't want it here no more.
Yeah.
Like, sure. But
yeah, I mean it's a pain for them to deal with, but that's a good suggestion. You know, I have somebody that my wife is to reach out to, who knows the cards, who I trust, and that's just a way to do it, or just have her call Chasing Cardboard, or a big dealer that you know.
Or Chris, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just come in, and you know, there are certainly dealers that would come in and buy everything.
mm-hmm.
But the thing is what's that?
You got Dave that could help you with, or help her with that, right? Blue
Yes.
Jacket? Yeah.
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 And at least steer her in the right direction and let her know
Sure.
what she has. Because it's you know, everybody, all of us guys, like, we want to leave our stuff to people, but you know, 9 times out of 10, our kids don't have any interest in it,
Mookie.
and nobody wants to have to deal with it.
Mookie's gonna go to the Hall of Fame of commenting, because he comes out with the best comments.
Yeah, he'll handle Mangini's
What'd he say?
cards.
You put, I'll deal with your cards, Mancini, no problem.
I'll tell you what, it would be overwhelming. I'll tell you that much.
For anybody.
Brent, I want to ask you, when it
Yeah.
comes to like the 80s and 90s, it seems like you don't go for the easy stuff, you go for the hard stuff. Do you do inserts also, like all those hard, really hard cards to find insert wise?
Yeah, yeah, I do that. A lot of the late '80s stuff, precious metal gems, all this stuff you hear about that's going for tens of thousands of dollars. I'm not touching that stuff, but there's a lot of other things that are, 10 or less pop, and they're tough to find, and it's pretty pleasing when you run into one of those that you can snag. So yeah, the stuff that's hard, I always was like that. Like I said, my favorite card of all time is the orange Charlotte Ripken, and it always will be. The Venezuelan Nolan Ryan rookie, the stuff I had, I mean, the stuff that nobody can get is just fun sometimes. It's and
Yeah,
some of it, like Mangini knows some of it's not expensive. I got Japanese cards. I mean, you're almost, if you buy one, you're almost not going to see that copy again. It's that
yeah,
rare. You know what I mean, Mangini?
yeah,
In
yeah,
this
yeah.
country,
I never see
it's
my
tough.
Japanese cards. I never
No,
see them again ever for sale.
if you grab one, it's
Most of
your
them.
one chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but they're not that expensive.
Right.
There's some Sadahar O rookies that are, but for the most part, those things are affordable. But just having something that you don't see every day is just super cool. It's just
Well,
super cool.
I'm into that, and that's how I
Yeah,
collect. And
absolutely.
rarity doesn't always mean more expensive,
Doesn't
and it doesn't
always.
always mean that people want it.
Yeah,
And the most
exactly.
expensive cards aren't rare, for the most
Yeah,
part. So,
yeah.
but
Thank goodness. Thank goodness there's some that we can still buy that there's not a lot of.
I mean, it's so cool to have like the only PSA copy of a card,
It
and it's
is.
somebody significant or a
Hmm.
significant set, rare set, and really old. Like that's pretty cool to me. I've always been more into the organically rare than manufactured rare.
Yeah,
Um, there's no there's no right way or wrong way, or one's not better than the others. I think as collectors, we're either into one or the other for the most part.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
I do like both, but I get where you're coming from with that. But the thing I like about you so much is you do collect all eras. I mean, you got a Caitlin Clark card, but you also have something from the 1800s. It's like that's what's great. You just love the cards. You love the sports. I'm pretty much a baseball guy, but you love everything.
yeah, I really do. It's funny. I subscribed to Sports Illustrated for Kids back in the early 2000s when I discovered after the Tiger Wood thing blew up. I didn't know about those cards, so I
Yeah, yeah,
subscribed. And so like I subscribed right around the time Serena Williams came out. So I got her rookie card, and I would get that magazine. So when I moved, it lapsed or whatever. And when I started collecting again in 2014, I started subscribing again. And so when Caitlin Clark
yeah.
came, I don't follow ladies college basketball. So when Caitlin Clark came out, I have a stack of Sports Illustrated for Kids. I just keep them around in case somebody blows up later on, right? So
Yeah,
I'm going through every one trying to find Caitlin, and she
exactly.
was she was in there.
I've done that, man. You go through those things like who was in this one?
Yeah,
Yeah, but they get pretty
Hey,
that's
John,
pricey
fun.
after a while.
my birthday is this month, so you can send
Oh,
me one of
nice. There you go.
You get two gifts. You get Christmas and your birthday, man. You got a good month.
those. Yep.
Yeah, the thing is like if they are a great athlete or they did something special, even if it was for a brief period of time, I like to collect them.
Hmm.
I was a Caitlin what's her Otashi? Is that her name?
Don't know.
The gymnast that got the perfect 10.
Oh, you mean back in the day
No, just a
or
few
recently?
years back. A few years
Okay.
back. Well, she had like a Sports Illustrated for Kids card. I'd love to watch her, man. She was amazing, and she was really great for a brief time, and so I'll collect her. Um, anybody that does something great in sports, really.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Brent,
Speaking of that, I dug this up the other day. You'll like this, man, Jeannie. This is not baseball, but this is Carl Lewis there.
Oh yeah,
So
nice.
that's 95, and two Brent, my best Carl Lewis there. So that was cool.
man, he was a household name.
Dude, he was, man.
Yeah,
He
he
could do it
was.
all. Long jump, everything.
Yep.
But that was really cool. And I've been unearthing some boxes lately with some with some pretty cool stuff. So it's one of those items. But yeah, what were you gonna say, James?
Oh no, I was gonna ask if you could share some cards of like recent pickups that you're like really stoked you picked up, and I'm
Yeah,
curious on what type of things you've been chasing after.
man, I'm as unfocused as Mangini, except for just in different directions, man. I like it all, but I do have some recent pickups I haven't shown on video yet.
Oh,
There's a couple of them I'll show you here.
we get the
But
premiere.
yeah, you get the premiere here. But this is just a beautiful copy, and John will know this. These are tough, but this thing is gorgeous. But I got this for a specific reason. So this is 1970 Super, and
Right.
that's of
Yep.
course Seaver. But 2019 Heritage had Nolan Ryan, which wasn't in the original. So this is a perfect pair of modern and vintage. 1970, 2019, right there.
Nice.
So these things are just gorgeous together.
They are.
So this, the old ones are a little bit thicker. The new ones are a little bit thinner and don't have quite the rounded corners of the other one, but they're exactly the same size.
Wait, what is
Almost
that,
the
Nolan
same
Ryan?
pose. That's a
Yeah.
2019 Heritage.
Wait.
It's a box
You were.
topper, and it works beautifully with this.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up.
I know that. Okay, it's a 2019 Heritage box topper.
Oh. Okay. All right.
So it pairs perfectly with this original 1970 Seaver. So I just got that in to kind of make a pair out of them, but they're just that Seaver is gorgeous. It came out of a set that someone had in binders, and it was kept pretty much perfect. You can tell on the back a little bit that it's got some wear. Here's another one that you don't see every day. But there's 50. This is a gold photographer's proof to 50. But the thing that's cool about this one, it's a Babe Ruth, but this is original Yankee Stadium bunting. So it's not a
Oh, I have
jersey.
a Jackie Robinson like that
Yeah.
with a blue bunting. Yeah,
These
it's
are
so cool. I
super
love it.
super cool with the original Yankee Stadium bunting.
Yeah, that is
And
so cool.
there are a few different versions. There's a blue one, but this is the number to 50 gold. This is the best one you can get. And of course, being the Babe, I had to have it.
I
Yeah,
have
that's awesome.
never seen anything like that before.
That's a cool card. See,
Wow.
that's what I mean, though. That's the kind of stuff I like. Is just stuff people don't know about.
I like cool stuff
Bunting.
like that, like unique stuff.
Yeah.
Modern, there's just so many cool things to collect.
There's a
Like
lot
it's
of
just
things.
it's unlimited.
Yeah.
And when you get
Yeah.
in, I don't know if the young people, they're probably not into the heritage and archives, but if you grew up like when we did and you collected, man, there's so much cool stuff in there. And then
So
of
much
course
cool stuff.
the inserts that they do that are kind of redone, from transigrams or whatever. Like we know
Yeah.
what those were from when we collected them.
Yeah.
A lot of newer collectors wouldn't even know what they were.
I like that stuff.
Wow. That's so cool. I can't get over
I love box toppers. I cannot lie.
But
I love the way you paired the Ryan and the Seaver. That looks
yeah,
so
man. I mean, decades apart, but they're just a perfect pair. I just love that kind of stuff.
So
as soon as I
what?
snagged the Ryan, I went back and got the Seaver, but I wanted a good copy because I didn't want something that didn't look right. But that guy, luckily, he put it on auction instead of right now, and those are easier to win lower sometimes. But that just came in a couple days ago.
nice. And you're into everything, Brent, like autographs, everything. Like,
Yeah. I mean, speaking of unearthing stuff, well, I've showed this before, but this since he passed, we'll show it. But that's my Pete Rose. So Brent, a great fan.
Nice.
So I was in Vegas for business many years ago, and I didn't know that he used. This is kind of when he first started, doing stuff there in the mall. So I didn't know it, and he put 4256 there. But we were just walking down the mall, and someone said, Pete Rose is in that room. I'm like, Pete Rose is in that room. So of course I went in there, paid for the picture, paid for the autograph. I didn't care, man. I thought it was cheap, but he shook my hand. I told him I was from Houston, used to watch him, hit against Ryan, and he asked what was going on with the Astrodome these days. He was just super friendly. Sometimes you don't want to meet your heroes, but that was one of the interactions that was just perfect. Had a great time. It was before cell phone cameras, so I don't know where that picture is. I don't remember even how they took it, or if it was just a physical picture they handed me. I don't remember, but I can't find it.
Oh,
Also unearthed this the other day, but this is all in-person stuff I got in Houston. But this is a cool thing. So I must have done this in '93 as a younger Brent. But all Astros, Bagwell, Biggio, Kyle, of course, passed away way too early. He's gone. But Craig Reynolds, Luis Gonzalez. I got a Kevin Mitchell when he was with the Giants there. Greg Swindell and Doug Drabeck had come over as the big free agents, back then. But I must have made this thing, a long, long time ago in '93, and put all these cards in a page and framed it. So unearthing that the other day was super cool. This will be something, man. Jeannie likes. This the signatures are faded, but this is a Giants ball, and it's got McCovey. It doesn't have Mays, but it has McCovey, Vita Blue, all kinds of great Giants players, all kinds of them. But I've been trying to look through and find all the ones that I don't know off the top of my head, but there's a bunch of cool names on that one. So autographs, yes. This one was given to me by a friend of mine. This is the inaugural Rockies team. So
oh, nice.
93 when they came on board. These are all still perfect signatures. You got Don Baylor in the sweet spot, and then Ellis Burks, a bunch of those guys, that were on that team. But that one's still pristine. So that was something that was in that box. And I was actually looking for a Yankees ball that I used to have, but I must have sold it or something, so it wasn't in there. But this is a Griffey. So one of my '90s guys, of course. But that's a clean, sweet spot signature there. One more here. There's a bunch of them in this box. A bunch of balls that I caught in this box as well. But this is a Fred McGriff that I still have the 1992 tickets for that game. Oops. There it goes. There it goes. Right there. So tickets to the game. Got that in person.
Very nice. The
So-
crime dog.
The crime dog himself. But
I'll
it's
tell
cool
you,
to have those memories, that when you got them yourself.
Mhm.
I saved every ticket I ever went, every game. I saved every ticket, and it's
Yeah.
a shame now because you get a digital ticket.
That's the worst part. You
Yeah,
can't even
so-
print one.
Right.
It's
Right.
terrible.
Do you think both of you, curious on your opinions on this, do you think that will help or hurt ticket collecting moving forward?
I think it helps it a lot. But I just wish, for the collectors in us, we want to keep. I used to buy a program, or my dad would buy a program for me every game. I would collect the program. I still have '80s Nolan Ryan programs. I mean, I love that kind of stuff, and you can still do that. But tickets, you can't have. And
What do you
even if
think,
you take
Melissa?
something, even if you take a
sorry.
screenshot and print it, it's not the same.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
went to a Cincinnati Reds game a few years ago, and it was digital. It was on our phones. And I
Yeah.
went to someone working in customer service. I said, I collect tickets. Is there any way I can get a ticket for this game? And they told me I can send them an email and pay $5 or whatever. And they sent me a replica of
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
better than nothing.
Hey, that is better.
Yeah, I
than
know
nothing.
a few years back, and I'm sure other teams probably did this too, but the Pirates had the big long tickets with a player's card on it, basically.
Yeah.
And I have a whole set of those. They can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
They,
Because if you go to the game and something significant happens, a no-hit, a perfect game, or something eventful,
Mhm.
you want to commemorate it, and it's
You
hard.
do. You do. I look
Yeah.
at that stuff all the time. I mean, like the Game 6 Reggie 3 Homer World Series ticket. I mean, that would be awesome to have. It was in the stadium when that happened. That's what's cool about it.
Yep.
I was working the National, the booth, and there was a ex-Red Sox pitcher. He was like a reliever, and I didn't know who he was because he's a reliever. He's a Red Sox. I'm a Yankees fan. But he's there looking, and he's looking at all the key rookies and blah, blah, blah. And eventually he sees a Yankee ticket there, and it's PSA encapsulated and everything. He goes, "Oh, my God, I struck out Derek Jeter in that game. How much will you take?"
No way.
And he was
Wow.
So over the moon. He said that was the best pickup he had the whole show because he's connected to striking out Jeter. And he has the ticket, tying it
Wow.
all together. And
Wow.
that's what you can't get anymore by not, giving out tickets. And to see him over the moon, over the cards or an autograph, it's the ticket. He went nuts over. So cool. I took a picture with him and everything. I still
Oh,
did
that's awesome.
A big guy too. He's like 6'6", yoked up and everything.
Yeah, so am I.
Hey James, let
That's
me show
awesome.
a couple tickets. I don't have a whole lot of tickets, but these are two that have a lot of meaning to me. When I was a real little kid, and I don't know if I watched this by accident, but the very first World Series I ever remember seeing was 1975, and I remember Luis Tiant on the mound, and the announcers bragging about him. And
Rest in peace.
I got a nice Game 7 ticket here
Ah,
from that World
nice.
Series against the
Nice.
Big Red Machine.
Heck
And
yeah.
then
My birth
when
year.
being a Lynn Swan fan and a Steeler fan, in Super Bowl 10, when Lynn Swan made all those four great catches,
Yeah.
they only showed three, but he made another one. I got a proof of a Super Bowl ticket
Oh,
for that Super Bowl.
Wow.
I
that's
also have
super
an
cool.
unused 1979 World Series ticket that I got at my flea market for 75 cents. I still remember what I paid for it. I couldn't pull my money out fast enough to buy it.
Man, that's killer. I
Nice.
love that kind of stuff. I love tickets. I think they're awesome. I have a bunch of phantom tickets. These guys will have season tickets, and the World Series doesn't happen. And you end up with these phantom
Oh
tickets. And
yeah,
it's kind of neat, but what could have been. But I think they're awesome when you're at a significant event. I used to keep all of them.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. Imagine having like Jackie Robinson's first game, or
Oh,
Babe Ruth's 60th home run, or something like
yeah.
that. Those Roger Maris's 61st home run. Those must sell for a fortune.
A
I
called
don't.
shot would be nice. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think Shane Shoebox Legend said the first Jackie game would be his ultimate, and I think that's about right.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's not only as a sports fan. That's just American history.
Totally,
Just in general. Like I would
totally.
think that anybody that collects history would even want that one,
Yeah,
or Americana.
that'd be high on the auction block right there.
Oh yeah, it'd be ridiculous. So
Last winter,
my friend has Willie Mays' World Series ring. His only one.
And you got to wear it, right?
Yeah, I mean
Man, that's killer.
yeah, having something special like that. The sad part is it's I don't know. They estimate it to sell for a very large amount of money. And I was telling my wife, like, if I had that, I wouldn't sell it. I'd keep it. That's the sad part. That's the problem with us collectors.
The
We're
collectors.
stupid. We're stupid. Because I would keep that ring.
I
So
don't
what do you
think you're
guys?
stupid. It's cool.
Yeah, what do you guys think about oversized cards? Melissa, you collect those?
I have some that are encapsulated. Trying to think what.
I actually
one-
like them. I know a lot of people don't because they don't match up with everything else, but I think the extra real estate is so beautiful.
Yeah, I just got this Wheaties Lou Gehrig. I mean, they're just so
man.
amazing looking,
Yeah.
and the video won't even do it justice. When here in
With the
person, it's
frame.
just so red and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Even
I
that's
was lucky to
incredible.
find one with the frame because often the frame is either jagged or messed up,
Sure.
and this just has one little tiny. You won't even be able to see it. It's so minuscule, just like a
Oh yeah.
tiny
Oh yeah.
little
Yeah.
nick there. Something.
Don't even point that
That's
out. It's
it.
awesome.
There's not even a mark on this sucker. Nothing. That's the only
Man.
thing on it.
That's amazing.
But that takes it down to a 1.5 because PSA
Yeah,
is goofy.
you don't want that thing. Let me give you my address.
It's junk.
It's
Now, do you
junk.
guys collect photos like type 1, 2, 3,
I love
4
photos. I love photos. I've been looking at a few of them on eBay. There's some really,
don't have
really
any.
cool ones. You don't have any, Melissa?
The only thing I have, I don't know if you can see behind me, I have some of the art. I have, let me see. So Yastrzemski and Clementi.
I see.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah. Those are
I have Brooks Robinson, Mickey Mantle, Ty Cobb, and Shoeless Joe Jackson also in this room.
I love
I love them.
I love the new, the press photos. Like I have this Clemente behind me from 1967.
Yeah, that's a killer image.
And we can date it because they actually have the newspaper clipping attached to it back there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I don't know if I think you saw this, Brent. I just picked up this Type 1 Babe
Oh
Ruth.
yeah, that thing's so gorgeous.
That's cool.
I also have the Hack Wilson that is the image used on his 1933 Gaudi.
Mm.
I don't have a lot of them, but the ones I have are pretty cool. Oh, I have this one. Now this is a Type 4. These are not as desirable as a Type 1, but it's so badass. I had to get it. Babe Ruth and Jimmy Fox.
Oh man, yeah,
And you can see
that's killer.
they stamp it on the back. These are
Sure.
used in newspapers.
In papers, yeah.
And I'll show you the. I didn't realize I had it sitting here, but I do. This is the Hack Wilson, and the artist took a little liberty. I think I'm next to positive this is the image. He took a little liberty with the placement of the bat. On the card, the bat is down farther, and I assume he did that to fit on the little card.
Sure.
Because it's an identical image other than that.
Yeah, I think it's gorgeous.
And it's not like they had a lot of images back then to choose from. Not like today where they have a million different photos of people.
I did pull out a few of them the other day, actually. So now Mookie Chilson doesn't know this, but I'm sending him this one. But this is a gorgeous photo.
Nice.
Oh wow!
So that's part of Mookie's Christmas right there. But that Yogi is a sweet image. Of course, with the Mets there. This one here is in the 80s. Mike Scott, the no-hitter that clinched the division with Smokey Bear for some reason. I don't know.
You know what? I bought back then. I bought a wiffle ball, and Mike Scott was on the box. I still have it to this day.
Still got it?
Yeah, I still have it.
Dude, this one here is Cepeda. And I love
Nice.
the umpire getting down there. That's a super cool image.
Press photos are fun.
These are cool. This one has the stamping on the back and stuff, but this is Bob Feller signing for some kids.
Nice.
I love that kind of image. And then this is my favorite image of all time. Of course, my favorite player of all time. It even has the property of Walt Disney on the back. But there you go.
That's a great photo.
You just don't see this every day. So that's Nolan with Mickey there. 88 right before he left. So yeah, I love photos for sure.
That's great.
I guess I want to join in the parade here.
Do it.
When I found this picture of Johnny Mai signing,
Yeah.
I fell in love with that.
That
It was
is
all
awesome.
wrinkled up and everything, but I said, if I'm gonna have a Johnny Mize autograph, I want it to be in a Giants uni.
That's a real auto, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah, it's PSA auto, DNA.
Nice.
And then I guess recently I shared this oversized pickup, but the Mickey Mantle 52 decals. There's only 24 graded, so this touched on the rarity and John's favorite guy, Mickey Mantle.
Yeah, man, I have two great ones here. I have this is the 1961 Philly cigar. Premium.
Oh yeah. It's gorgeous.
Wow.
You don't see these every day, and you don't see this one every day either. This was a dream card of mine growing up. I will not call it a Grail because I have more than one dream card. 1960 post serial.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that thing is gorgeous.
I keep this on a pedestal. I bought
Diamond yard in the house.
in my hey George.
Hey, hello all. How are you guys doing? And
What's up, man?
gals?
Hello.
So when I set up my card room, real quick, George. Sorry. I went out to a store like Hobby Lobby, and I bought pedestals, like the cement pedestals that people put in their yards and stuff. And so I sit certain cards on my pedestals.
Gotcha.
Nice. How you doing, George?
I'm doing great. I guess it's better late than never, right?
Of course.
Definitely.
Glad you could join. I didn't think you were going to make it.
Yeah.
You was
Yeah,
watching
well,
baseball.
yeah. My son at a baseball game, so it's 65 degrees and it's sunny, so they play baseball here in Arizona. So
Perfect.
it was nice.
We're sharing oversized cards in our collection.
Ah, okay. Oversized cards. Will anybody show exhibits cards?
Not yet.
No,
Nope.
yet. I could show one if you want to look for something. I got John's favorite guy right here. Paul Wainer.
Oh yeah, man.
Big Poison. That's his rookie card.
Oh, nice.
You know, he has the highest lifetime batting average of any Pittsburgh Pirate in history.
That'll work.
And John's hoping I send it to him for Christmas.
I'll take any Paul Wainers you want to send my way, man. I'll take Hannes Wagner's too.
I'm sure.
Yeah, Brent, I like your New York Knights hat.
Yeah, my favorite movie ever. Definitely.
Very cool.
Definitely.
Man, I can't even
baseball
see
movie.
anybody anymore.
Uh-oh. Man, Jeannie's
Need better
blind.
vision. Hey, Melissa, I had wanted to ask you. I forgot. What's your oldest card?
Probably, actually, I did pick up a T206. Bill Dolan.
Dalen, Bad Bill Dalen.
There you go.
I argue he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. That's
He
the
was-
only one I have. Obviously, I'd love to get some more of those, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Well, that's a good one to have, in my opinion. I don't know. I have a fascination with it. Yeah, Bad Bill Dalen. I don't know why they called him bad though, but he was supposed to be a top shortstop of the era.
Yeah. George, are you familiar with Melissa's channel?
I'm not, but I was going to say, Melissa, when you just got to go down the rabbit hole sometimes. It took me a long time, and finally, like about 3 years ago, I did, and I was glad I did.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not looking for eights in your T206s or maybe a T205, there are a lot of reasonably priced ones that you can get. I mean, most of them are going to be, 1.5 to 3. You'll pay up a little bit for a 4, but you can get real nice looking 2.5, 2s, 3s. I just got a beautiful 2.5 Cy Young, and I mean it's beautiful. Nothing wrong with it.
I'll show you just this one card that I picked up this year that I never thought I would have.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic.
Nice.
John Seaver rookie.
Oh, yeah.
So you just had to one up Brent with his super, right?
I know. That's it.
That's
Going
Seaver.
for the rookie.
That's a tough card. Pricey card to pick up today.
I'll show a couple more oversized here. My favorite one of all time, and it is rare. There are some other postcards that aren't, but this is the 81.
Ooh.
81 Ripken. So his rookie. And this is probably the nicest copy in existence. I got it from someone in Baltimore that had it the whole time. I will get it.
Now, what
slabbed.
is that from? How was that issued?
It's a team issue.
Team issue.
Team issue postcard. And the 81 is the killer. And old Blue Eyes there, you can see. It's just a gorgeous. He looks so young.
Yeah.
That thing is killer. And then my favorite Type 1 photo is this one.
Oh, wow.
Not super huge, but it's early 80s Ripken in the batting cage. And it is just absolutely gorgeous. So I
Nice.
absolutely love that. But you asked about the oldest card. It's not baseball. It's that one right there.
Oh, what is that?
One of the best copies on the planet. So there's a smoker's set from the 1880s, in 33, Allen and Ginter.
Okay.
And this is the key card. Most of them are generic people doing generic things, but this is Sir Walter Raleigh, who obviously is famous for a pipe tobacco. But that card there is a killer, and I sent it in myself and scored the 5, which is very awesome for a card like this. Kind of like Greg's pirate cards. I mean, they're just impossible.
Yeah.
But to nail a 5 like this centered, most of these are in a museum. You don't ever see this card, but really, really love that thing. But that's the oldest card I have by a long shot.
Wow. Brent, we were talking earlier and talking about how we evolve as like the way we look at cards and choose to pick them up, and sometimes we pay too much attention to centering after a while. How do you think you've evolved over time?
That's a good one. Dylan gets us all on that stuff. He makes it. His wife made him look at his a different way, and he makes us look at him a different way. But I've always, and another reason I probably don't collect as many vintages, I do like nice cards. So I don't really enjoy looking at super beat up cards unless they're really rare. And then it doesn't bother me as much. Like Mangini was talking about with those Japanese cards. I mean, if they have flaws, I don't really care. I mean, they're just awesome. But yeah, I like nice cards. I do like centering. I will deal with a little bit of off as long as it fits my eye and it's just not trash. I can enjoy it. If something really bothers me about it, it's out. But I don't think I have a hard and fast rule where it just has to be 50-50 or else I just can't like it, or if it's got to have exactly perfect corners. But if it kind of has the best of all worlds together that makes my eye like it, for what that set is, because they're all different. I mean, the 71 tops you can't think of the same way as a new card, So
Right.
whatever
There's no
looks
such
good
thing
to
as
me.
doubles in vintage cards because no
No,
two look identical.
they're all different.
Yeah.
They're all different, and that's why it's interesting to look through them. I don't get to many shows, but when you go, that's what's cool about it. You can see a bunch of different copies, and then one just bingo. I mean, it took Greg 30 years to find the Ernie Banks he wanted. So
Right,
it's just the way it is.
right. And Melissa, you say you collect a lot of sets, the 55, the basketball. Out of all those sets that you look for, each one has their own ways that you have to like look for them, whether it's centering with one or registration with another. What are the challenges you found with building some of those sets?
Well, I want a certain grade. I want like at least like a 5. I try to stay right in the middle there. Or if I see a card that's ungraded that looks really, really nice, I could probably, I'll send it in the PSA myself and hope that it gets something higher.
Okay. And then you said, which was the first set that you said you collected, the 57, I think, basketball?
I'm trying to do that one. I'm trying to do the 55 Topps All-American in football.
Okay.
Nice set.
The 57.
I have the big names in that, so I'm trying to get all the commons now.
And the 57 is super tough with centering, right? That
Oh,
one,
yeah.
you're happy when it's 70-30, right?
Yeah. Yeah, my grades are between 2 and 6 on most of my cards.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
I don't feel like 57 was a very good year for tops in general, right?
Right.
Like
Not when it came to centering.
Yeah, the base. I mean, it's like the cardboard stock was so messed up that like it affected. They used like the same stock for football, baseball, and basketball, and they all have issues, right? And then the centering, the centering of the basketball set and baseball set is just, and football too, really
Brutal.
tough.
Brutal.
The 54 tops baseball, as we all know, is tough because you have to watch for two things. And that is, so often it's cut right at the name at the top, which drives me insane.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit of the name's even missing. And then you have the registration issues with the specs. I'd rather have a little bit of registration issue than the name cut, though.
But
But
why
you
do
have
they have
two
why do they
major
have 3
issues.
borders? Why do they have 3 borders on a card?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the design, to be honest.
The design's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just put a 4th border at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't leave themselves any room for error there.
None.
Yeah, I feel like Topps was really, really trying to put Bowman in the ground. You know what I mean? And like they would eventually put Bowman in the ground in 1955. And Bowman tried to do their television set, and it like backfired. And then the next year they're gone. And then 56, Topps now Topps comes out with the most beautiful sets ever in 56 Topps set.
Yeah.
I felt like Topps really just had a much greater vision for the beauty of the cards in those eras, right? From 52 to 56, the sets are just incredible, eye appeal wise.
Eye appeal is amazing.
I mean, Bowman recycled the same stuff.
I like the Bowman too, though.
Yeah,
I like them, but I also, but the difference between 50 and 51 Bowman is not that much, right? Some of the pictures are the same.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely have a different vibe than Topps. They changed the game. What's funny is, the 54 Ted Williams that Bowman didn't have the license for. And when so Topps went ahead and made 2 cards for him just to rub it in, just to give him a big middle finger.
That's it. They bookended that thing.
Yeah. It's so funny.
George, if you didn't know, Brent, he had the highest. He got an award from PSA for having the highest graded set. Like, that's unbelievable, man. Did you know that?
A long time ago. Though. Yeah.
Which set was it?
I had a PSA 1084 Donruss, which is my favorite set.
I have a bunch of them on my wall right here. 84 Donruss, all in 10s. I got this all 80s, like 83, 81 Donruss and 10s, all 10s. I know you love that, John.
I knew I loved you.
But the 84 Donruss, man, that's
I just came out with my channel. I just came out with my channel card I've been giving out, and it is based on the Mattingly, except for it's got my flip there.
Yeah.
But and instead of New York Yankees, I got New York Knights, but it's the exact Donnie baseball.
Donnie baseball. Yeah, that set, I thought about maybe doing a run of like Hall of Famer autographs of just that set.
Oh, yeah. Oh man, it's killing.
It's a good card to get autographed too, because it's not too slick. When they sign it, you won't get much bleed on it.
Exactly.
It'll soak right in.
It's barely a semi-gloss, and it's completely matte on the back.
Yeah. And the card stock is so narrow. It's not quite as thin as the card stock on 85 Donruss, but somebody tonight was asking me at my son's baseball game about the haunted hoops that Walmart has, like haunted hoops, and then they had the Halloween football cards. And I was saying how the haunted hoops is now on special because it kind of backfired and they overproduced it. But when you open up the packs, it's the same really thin card stock. Like really reminds me of 85 Donruss, 84 Donruss. Really thin.
Best set
what do you guys think of 86 Fleer?
Basketball?
Football. Baseball.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Okay.
Baseball.
I think it's great.
Is that called the blue border?
Yeah, with the blue border.
The blue border.
They made minis too.
Yeah, that's right.
That's funny, John. Hold on.
To me, it's the best.
Why is that funny?
And
I'll
that's
tell
hilarious,
you
John.
Well, there's a Will Clark and John Kruk in there. But my favorite card from that set is the Darryl Strawberry. That's a really cool card in the 86 Fleer.
This is a case of 86 minis.
Are you serious? Send those to me.
It's a case.
Wow.
I opened more than half of them, but I still have at least 30 sets in here.
Those are complete sets.
Yeah, it's a case of
complete sets. Let me buy one from you.
I'll bring one for you at the National. How about that?
Heck yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to the National, and if I am, I'm flying.
So, yeah, the big card in that, of course, is Canseco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool one.
84 Fleer, huh? The only difference to me, the thing that makes 86 Fleer are the insert all-star cards. That's the first real main issue insert set. And those all-star cards in high grades go for a ton of money, frankly. But the All-Star team had, Ricky Henderson, Don Mattingly, Dwight Gooden, and it was just the first mainstream insert set that I can remember. But yeah, 84 Top Fleer was really good too.
I'll tell you what, I'm old enough to remember when the Donruss and Fleer came out in '81, and man, we thought we died and went to heaven. We had 3 sets to put together instead of just one. It was so exciting, and you got a lot of the times you got a full rookie card on the Donruss, like Mookie Wilson. He had the Topps 3-player rookie, but you had the Donruss, right? And same with Tim Raines. They had single cards. So yeah, that was a fun time to collect.
Yeah, I like the 3-set thing. I mean, I like a lot of modern stuff, but if it would have stayed like that, I would be happy.
Well, the funny thing is we thought it was a little overwhelming with 3 sets. Now
back then, yeah.
Now look at it.
Now look at it. Yeah, forget that.
Yeah,
Those
I
were the
mean,
days.
even when Upper Deck came out, I can't remember. I'm like, holy shit, we have to pay $1 for a pack of cards. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Then you're opening them up and you're like, wow, this is fancy. It's foil.
I thought every card was valuable. They got a hologram on it.
Yeah, right. You're like, no wonder it's $1. These are special.
I thought it was crazy in the 90s when Fleer came out, and then Fleer Ultra and Topps, and then Topps Stadium Club. And I'm like, why are they making us spend so much money? Now it's like 10 times that. Like, it's just obnoxious how many sets come out.
You can't even buy a box now.
One of my favorite sets that I chased and put together was a basketball set. It was the '89 Hoops. I put that all together, and I had doubles of everything, triples, quadruples, and the one David Robinson card I could not pull to save my life, even though I opened pack after pack, and I finally had to break down and buy one.
Buy it.
Because they had the 2 rookies. I got the 1.
2 different ones. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was, I don't know, he was like hot coming out of college, and that was a hot set, they were getting big. I don't know, basketball cards started to become more popular around that time.
Mm-hmm. Melissa,
go ahead, Jen.
Melissa, I just was curious. You said that you life got in the way and you kind of hopped out, but you still did shows here and there for autographs. Was with collecting, did you hop back in, and what time did you hop back in?
So during the whole junk wax era is when I got into autographs, because there was just so much stuff. I would go to like a card shop, and I was a big Dan Marino fan. I was trying to get all his cards. So I'd ask him, what Dan Marino cards do you have? And he'd pull out like 30, 40 cards at $5 to $10 a piece. And I'm in college. I don't have that kind of money, So back in the day, they used to have card shows in the mall. And they'd always have like one guy signing for free to get people to go to the mall. So I would always bring a ball with me and just get the autograph, and they were free. So that's when I started getting into the autographs more instead of spending money on cards.
I loved those shows. Those were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got back into cards like fairly recently?
When the autographs started getting like scribbles, I stopped spending the money on scribbles and went back to the cards. But then I went back into vintage. That's when I started going back into the mantles in 2000.
Okay. So around 2000 was when you just got full bore again.
Oh yeah, that's when I was buying a lot of the graded cards.
Good move.
Yeah. Especially Mantle.
I wish the new guys had those autographs like Mantle and Ted Williams and DiMaggio. I mean, they're just beautiful.
Yeah, and you were getting all those mantles for like $50 to $100, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they were about $200 because I was going for PSA 5s. So
right, and now those are like $1,000.
Yeah,
that's inflation.
Yeah.
Here's one for you. I was talking today to a friend of mine to the game and talking about card shows and stuff back in the 80s and stuff. But I recently bought a Mantle ball off this guy, and he was an older gentleman, and came up to me at a show, and he had a bunch of cards, including like this Bobby Richardson that was autographed, and a Moose Scourin that was autographed.
Yep, I got those.
Yeah, and so all these guys, he showed me this pamphlet from, was it Scottsdale Fashion Square in Arizona, and it was from 1991. And these guys were all on it, including Mantle. The ball was signed by Mantle. And I'm not a Mantle expert, but I can look at the signature and say, hey, this looks pretty close to being real. That has the provenance on it. And so I ended up buying the Mantle ball, these autographs. There's Don Larson here, Bobby Richardson. There was a Whitey Ford. The whole point being this, he still had the pamphlet from the show. And I looked on it, and it was, I think it was spring of 1991. And the autograph prices on it were like, Don Larson was $2, Moose Scourin was $2, Bobby Richardson was $2, Whitey Ford was $5, and Mickey Mantle was signing for $10.
Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself, why didn't he get like a dozen of these balls signed? But just amazing, like, yeah, the cost of. I can remember being at card shows in the 80s, and Rod Carew was charging like $25. But, by the 90s, I don't know. Mantle was only charging $10 at this place. I don't know if you guys would get autographs like that back then and how much these guys charged.
All I know is when I jumped back in the hobby,
John's back.
Mickey Mantle was $100 for an autograph. And everyone told me, don't bother. He signed too much. And now they're going for like $600-700 on average. I wish I would have bought like 10 or 20 Mickey Mantle autographs back then for $100.
Totally.
Yeah. My friend has a great Mickey Mantle story of autographing, but it doesn't have to do with Mickey Mantle. It actually has to do with Stan Musial. So he hired Stan Musial to do an autograph session for $10 a pop. And Stan Musial shows up. He sees all these balls and pictures and everything. He's like, I'm not going to sign not one thing because Mickey Mantle gets $20 for anything he signs, and I'm getting $10. And I was just as good a player as that Mickey Mantle guy. And the guy, my friend was like, fine, I'll give you what you want. I'll pay you what you want, man. Just sign, don't leave. And I laugh every time I hear that story.
My favorite autograph story is I was watching a video of a guy that was getting Earl Campbell's autograph.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I don't, I watched him as a kid, and the Steelers just would kill him. He would never do good against the Steelers. He came into town. One time, Donnie Shell broke his ribs in like the first quarter, out for the game. Another time in the playoffs, they held him to 6 total rushing yards the whole game. Yeah. And so this guy was videoing. He went up to get his autograph, and he said, Mr. Campbell, out of all those Steelers, who was the hardest hitter? And he was signing, and he paused for a second, didn't even look up. And then he looked up and handed him the autograph, and he said, every one of those Yeah.
He would run over everybody else. But,
yes.
But the Steelers killed us.
Yeah. He ran over everybody else. And he had that breakaway jersey. And by the end of the game, that thing was just hanging on him.
Love you, Blue
I loved
Days,
him.
Man.
He was a great runner. But that Steel Curtain defense was something special.
He was amazing. He was one of the 34s. We had Nolan Ryan, Elijah Wan, and him were all 34s. The best in each sport. It's awesome. But yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah, in Super Bowl IX, Chuck Foreman with the Vikings. Oh man, they shut him down too. I think he had negative yards. I think he was like -6, and they had a total 17 yards rushing in that Super Bowl, and 13 of them. I'm sorry, all of them I think were Fran Tarkenton scrambling.
Yeah, they were amazing. John, I wanted to show you something. This here, I don't know if you remember these, but this is from Sears back in the day. But Ted Williams had a line of all kinds of sporting equipment, and this is still new in stock, new stock, old stock in box, but it's a Ted Williams football. Do you remember this stuff?
I don't remember that at all. And why
This,
would Ted Williams have a football?
yeah, he had a bunch of different sports, but it was a Ted Williams licensed sporting goods line,
Do you
and
know
a
what? Do
good.
you know where it was carried?
It was only Sears. It was only Sears exclusive. But a good friend of mine's mother passed away many years ago, and she had all kinds of stuff, and he gave me that. So, but I didn't know if you had run across that stuff before. But it's
I've never
wild to
seen
me.
that, and I did shop at Sears. We had one
Yeah,
in our brand new mall, and I did shop there. I don't ever remember seeing any Ted Williams, but I mean, it might not just have stood out to me.
yeah,
Um,
exactly,
and
exactly.
they also had those Marcom oversized cards.
Oh, they had shotgun too. Cool.
Sears sold those things, and I don't remember those either. I got them after the fact.
Yeah, gotcha. I was just curious because I hadn't been on live with you, so I figured I'd ask you about it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. No,
Maybe
Kind of a cool item.
I have the answer. He sold shotguns and he sold footballs out of the shotgun. How about that?
Ah, there
It's
you
just
go.
that joke for the day.
Dad joke coming.
This is a funny Earl Campbell story. It's related to Earl Campbell. I was helping there's a comic book shop I was buying cards from a while ago. And they had this massive collection they had bought, tickets, magazines, autographs, cards, etc. And so I went through it or whatever, and the guy let me take out different items I'd buy from him. Well, he started listing some stuff on eBay, and so eventually he would talk to me about what he was selling on eBay and what he should try to sell. And he says to me, shows me his phone. He says, "Look at this. This sold the other day," and it was a Houston Oilers ticket from early September of 1978. And he's like, "Can you believe this ticket? It sold for $600." And I looked at it and I thought to myself, "That's Earl Campbell's first game." And I was like, he's like, "Why would somebody pay that much?" And I'm like, it was the ticket was in mint condition. And I know you guys were talking about tickets before, and I'm like, they're going to take that and they're going to have him sign it and get it slabbed, and it's going to be a really nice piece for somebody who's an Oilers or Texans fan, you know.
Big time.
Yeah,
that'd be
sure.
killer. That'd be killer.
But he couldn't figure it out. He was just, he's a comic book guy. He's completely befuddled by this. And I was looking at him, who could this be? Why would it go for so much?
Yeah, I mean, if it's going for that, there's usually a reason.
Totally, especially in that condition.
Yeah. Remember that Monday night game where he just dominated and like his jersey broke off? And I mean, I was watching that game as a little kid.
Highlights everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He just running people over.
Yeah, I mean, nobody could really tackle him.
It's too bad what's happened to him later in life, but he put it all on the field.
Hey, do you guys remember? I was watching a game. Did you watch him growing up?
Yeah.
You watch all his games? There was one game, and I think he was playing the Steelers, but I'm not sure. But it was a game I was watching, and he lost his contact lens, came out. And they stopped the game for like almost a half an hour, like 20 minutes or something. And everybody's out there on the grass looking for his contact lens. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
that's
I had
awesome.
A distinct memory. And then he used to do the skull ads. Remember that?
Oh,
he'd be on the beach, and some girl would walk by in a bikini, and he'd be like, he'd pop a skull in, and I forget what the tagline was.
A little pinch between the cheek and gum is all.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, but there was a little more to it. I don't know. But yeah, he'd be on the beat. He'd put a chew in and then follow the girl.
No, that's
He's
right.
one of the 10 players to win the Heisman and be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah, what he does Heisman doesn't work out on it.
Mm-hmm.
He just had a short career,
Yeah.
In fact, that tells you how good he was. That he's in the Hall of Fame with that.
He's like Koufax. He just dominated for a short period, but it was too overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I'm being summoned, so I gotta go get my boy a bath. But I really appreciate being on. Good to see you, John. As
Brett,
always,
thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, James. Good to see you, man. George, sorry we didn't get to hang out too long, George.
That's
and
okay,
it was awesome
Brent.
to meet you, Melissa. I appreciate it.
Yep, nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
All right, you guys take care.
Brent.
Yeah.
Shout out your channel. Where can people find you?
Oh yeah, Brent Richards and baseball cards. I kept it simple. I've been Brent Richards in the comments for years, and I just figured people need to know what it's about. It's about baseball cards, so I just kept it simple.
All right.
Thank you, John. We'll see you later, man.
Okay. See
Bye
ya.
bye.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna have to wrap this up too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to head out. I don't know if you want to wrap this up or continue.
I got to wrap it up too. But Melissa, I also want you to shout out your channel one more time for those that are not subscribed.
It's Sports Guru 17.
Sports Guru 17.
Yep.
Melissa.
Yeah, I mean, Melissa has an amazing collection. Just fantastic cards and a museum in her house.
Yes.
And thank you for showing us that Tom Seaver. That's a really nice copy.
No?
Great card. I don't have that card.
You don't have that card, George? I thought you had all the cards.
It's a tough card. I mean, to find the right one that you like, it's tough.
Yeah.
You know this. We all know.
Yeah, I mean, I love mine. I have a nice example.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Melissa, for joining us one more time. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Really.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, really enjoyed seeing what you shared with us, and it was so much fun.
And
Yeah,
just remember, I do have a birthday this month. So if you want to send me some stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Get a care package together.
There you go.
Let's plug.
Let's call Brad.
That's right. Bradley Claus. We all got
Bradley
ours
Claus.
today, John.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Melissa, thanks
nice
for
to meet you
joining.
guys.
Thanks for joining. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
See you guys.
All right, guys. So I guess this is another show. Thank you for joining us. Happy Hobby Hump Day. We'll see you next week. Thanks, George, for hopping on late.
Yep. Take care.
All right.